Alright, so in this video, we're going to look at the 2019 November paper, question 6. So we have graphs defined as g of x is equal to ax squared plus q. When you see an x with a square, basically a quadratic where x is squared, or the highest exponent of x is 2, this is a parabola. Then we have k to the power x minus 4. Both pass through -2 and 0 on the x-axis, and the y-intercept of g is 0 and -5. So we're going to begin with 6.1.1, the asymptote of f. So f is this graph here. This is an x as an exponent, so this is an exponential graph. The value q, which is, remember, it's b to the power x plus q. So in this case, your value q, your -4, that's going to be the asymptote. So let's go ahead and write that down. So 6.1.1, y is equal to -4 is the equation of your asymptote. Then we talk about the value of q. So we look at our equations, we scan through them, and we find out where q is. So the q they're talking about is this here, which is the y-intercept of your parabola, and they are telling that to you directly. The y-intercept of g is -5. So in this case, 6.1.2, q is equal to -5. So that's straightforward. Now they're saying the coordinates of the other x-intercept of g. So we remember that g is a parabola, okay? So if you just had to understand it, I'm not too sure if it's a smiley face or sad face at this point, but we could just go ahead and imagine it as a smiley face just to try and understand what's happening. So there's a smiley face here. All right, let me just line that up properly. Okay, so there's a parabola, and they say that both graphs pass through the point -2 and 0. So here's -2 and 0. It's an x-intercept, right? And then they said that the y-intercept is 0 and -5. Okay, so it is going to be a smiley face. Now, they are asking for the other x-intercept. So isn't our other x-intercept is here? So there's one x-intercept here and there's one here. Now in grade 10, because the graph hasn't moved left or right, it's only been moving up or down, the distance from your x-intercept to the origin will be the same on both sides. So if this is -2, then this is 2. We can also think of symmetry, whereas the graph is cut in half. So if the side has a -2 and 0, this has to have a 2 and 0. So the coordinate here will be 2 and 0. So the coordinate of the other x-intercept of g is going to be 2 and 0. All right, then we say determine the equation of g. So that's 6.2.1. 6.2.1. So g of x is equal to ax squared plus q. The first thing I'm going to put in is the q value. Remember we said it's -5 from before, so we're going to say y is equal to ax squared minus 5. We now need a coordinate to substitute, any coordinate on the graph. Now we know that our g graph both passes through this point, and we also have the other x-intercept, so you can use either one. So in this point I'm just going to use 2 and 0. So basically we got 2 squared over here and 0, and the rest of my formula a minus 5. So that's gonna be a times 2 squared is gonna be a times 4, which is just 4a minus 5. So if you move the minus 5 across, it becomes a positive 5. Divide both sides by 4, and a is equal to 5 over 4. So let's write our final equation. G of x is equal to 5 over 4 x squared minus 5. Alright, and that's done. The next question is now asking us for the equation of f. Now, alright, so f of x currently, before we've done anything, is basically k to the power x minus 4. Now they're saying the equation. So for the equation, we just need to sub in a point that we have. The only point that we have on that graph for now is -2 and 0, which is also the x-intercept of the parabola. Basically, they're saying that your parabola and your exponential pass through -2 and 0, so we can use that. So I'll put 0 is equal to k to the power -2 minus 4. Okay, so what do I do next? So I'll say move the 4 across, and I have k to the -2. Now when you have a negative exponent, as we do there, so k to the -2 can be written as 1 over k squared. So I'm going to write 1 over k squared is equal to 4 over 1, and then you cross multiply, and then 4k squared is equal to 1. If you divide both sides by 4, k squared is equal to a quarter. All right, now you need to find k, so not k squared, so it's going to be divide square root both sides, and k is equal to a positive or negative a half. But if you remember from my video on exponential graph, the value of this base is always going to be positive, so k is going to equal to a positive half. So f of x is equal to 1 over 2 to the power x minus 4. All right, and that's my equation. Okay, let's look at the next one now. 6.3 says calculate the y-intercept of f, so of that same graph. So if you're doing y-intercept, we let x equal 0. So y is equal to a half to the power 0 minus 4. So that's 1 minus 4, and y is equal to -3. So the y-intercept is 0 and -3. The last question says sketch the graph, sketch both graphs of the same axis. All right, so I'm just going to delete that. We're going to remember a couple of things. It wants all the, if they want all the intercepts, they want an asymptotes. All right, so that's what we're going to make sure to include, whatever they wanted. So let's start with our axis. Let's just put an axis this way, and let's start with the horizontal asymptote of our exponential graph, which is going to be at -4. Right, so there's an asymptote right down this way. Then we can go ahead and make a note. Our exponential graph is a decreasing function because that b is a fraction, so it's gonna be something like this. All right, so something of that nature. All right, so if you just stretch that out a bit more. All right, okay, so sorry, let me just put this above the asymptote. All right, so maybe something like that. Okay, I'm just gonna redraw the whole thing. All right, so maybe if I do that, and then I extend it that way. All right, so something like that, where this y-intercept of that is going to be 0 and -3. So -3 goes there. We also know that this passes through a point which is -2. Then I have my parabola, which has a y-intercept of -5. So it's gonna go down till here, -5, and it's going to go through there and up like that. I need to make it pass that point, and it needs to pass there and maybe there. Okay, so it'll pass through -2, 2, -5, and my exponential passes -2, -3, and I have my asymptote at -4. And that should be done. That's the main thing. Obviously you'd put your names and stuff. So x-axis y-axis. This is the line y is equal to -4. This is my graph of f of x, and this is my graph of g of x. All right, and then I'm done. Okay, I hope that